Evening, everyone. Today is Monday, March 9th, 2015. It is my pleasure to call the regular meeting of the City of Burnsville Planning Commission to order. Welcome, Commissioners. Welcome, Mr. Slania.
Thank you.
Today's, for those viewing and listening audience who have joined us, thank you for tuning us in. Appreciate your being with us. Today's agenda is as follows. Item 1, adoption of the agenda. Item 2, approval of the minutes from the February 23rd, 2015 regular meeting. Item 3, Buell Consulting, Inc. for an extension of a conditional use permit amendment for additional ground equipment at the existing cellular tower located at the waste treatment plant at 50 River Ridge Court. Item 4, Independent School District 191 for an extension of a conditional use permit amendment and variance to replace the existing stadium scoreboards at Burnsville High School located at 600 Highway 13 West. Item 5, updates. And I can let you know right now there is no Planning Commission meeting on March 23rd due to the council chamber renovation. Commissioners, adoption of the agenda. Any change from the agenda?
None for me, Chair.
Mr. Chair, staff has one. It should be water treatment plant for item number 3 instead of waste treatment.
That's right. Water treatment plant.
I'll make that correction.
Thank you. Any other correction? Do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda? Moved by Commissioner Bradrick. Second by Commissioner Benke. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Pass on a 4-0 vote. Item 2, approval of the minutes from the February 23rd, 2015 regular meeting. Any corrections?
Yes, we do.
Commissioner Benke?
Under item 4, public hearing, first paragraph, about 4 or 5 lines down, the second driveway to the north part of the site to access, that should be River Hills Drive, not River Ridge Road.
Correct.
And then in the next paragraph, the turn lane that the neighbor was referring to, right turn lane from westbound Cliff Road to northbound River Hills Drive again. Selkirk Drive is elsewhere.
Corrections will be made. Any other corrections?
Yep, one more.
Go ahead.
Just, and I might be going overboard on here. Under item 5, down under number 3, the retail area should be limited to 12,000 square feet. We discussed it here. Any future increase to the retail over 10% of the, and I feel like grammatically that should be that, of that 10% of that square footage, and that refers back to the previous one.
Thank you.
That's it?
That's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Benke. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the February 23rd meeting? Moved by Commissioner Benke.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Corey. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Pass on a 4-0 vote. Moving along to item 3 on the agenda, Buell Consulting, Inc. for an extension of a conditional use permit amendment for additional ground equipment at the existing cellular tower located at the water treatment plant at 50 River Ridge Court. Mr. Slania.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioners, this is an extension request by the applicant. The property owner with this project is the City of Burnsville. Buell Consulting is a consulting firm that works with Verizon Wireless. I believe in this situation, AT&T owns the tower at the site. We are looking at an extension for a conditional use permit that was approved in 2014. Those are valid for 12 months. In this situation, because of lease complications, the applicant has not moved forward yet with construction. However, they are still pursuing the project and still interested in moving ahead. This is the far east side of the water treatment plant. Here is the existing compound operated by AT&T. Here is the pole. There is just under a 500 square foot leased area with a small equipment shelter. This is the existing situation. The second shelter would be in this location. And here's an example of a similar structure used elsewhere. Commissioners, again, it is not a public hearing. It is simply a request to extend that conditional use permit. The applicant started out with 6 months. It's staff recommendation we take that to 12. No one thought these lease agreements would take as long as they have now rather than a second extension. Staff is recommending just go with another 12 months, and I believe the applicant's moving as quickly as they can. With that, Commissioners, I will stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Slanier. Commissioners?
No
If
question.
there is no question, and this doesn't require a public hearing, do I hear a motion?
I would make a motion that the Planning Commission recommend to the City Council approval of a 12-month extension for the cellular ground equipment conditional use permit amendment at 50 River Ridge Court.
Motion by Commissioner Corey. Second by Commissioner Bradrick. Any other discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Passed on a 4-0 vote. This matter will go to the City Council at its next meeting, next regular meeting on Tuesday, March 17th.
Correct.
Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda. Then this one, the application from the City of School District 191. Let me get that here. Independent School District 191 for an extension of a conditional use permit amendment and a variance to replace the existing stadium scoreboards at Burnsville High School located at 600 Highway 13 West. Mr. Slanier?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Again, this is also a conditional use permit extension. This application included a variance in 2014. The Planning Commission saw this in April. The Council approved it, I believe, April 22nd. The property owner in this case is ISD 191. They are operating Burnsville High School. They are seeking a conditional use permit and amendments to enlarge their 2 scoreboards. You see here on the edge of the track within the stadium is the primary field, the stadium scoreboard. This is the football practice fields scoreboard. The applicant is looking to gain sponsorships around the scoreboard. It would also include a live video display. Obviously, the current scoreboard on the left does not. There would be improvements to the practice field scoreboard, also gaining sponsors and partners. In this situation, I'd like to point out the partner spaces, whether it be an anchor partner or a founding partner, those sign panels are static. They are not moving. They are interchangeable if need be, but they are not a message center as the screen is. You can see here the scoreboard portion, if you will be the same as what is used existing. This structure is removed. The foundation and the footings are retrofitted to increase the weight of the new scoreboard. The old scoreboard is mounted back up with the new digital reader board, or excuse me, video monitor system. Commissioners, again, because of really 2 factors. One would be fundraising done by the not by the school itself, but by the boosters, by the football boosters, as well as the recent referendum by 191. This is somewhat in flux. It's staff's understanding the school does want to move forward with this. How soon that occurs and In what fashion that occurs has yet to be determined. It's possible the size or the location of this may change, in which the Planning Commission would see this again. Based on the current proposal, what was approved in 2014, again, staff is recommending a 12-month extension to allow some of those details to get sorted out and the school board, school district to move forward. With that, Mr. Chair, I will take any questions. This is not a public hearing either.
Thank you, Mr. Slaney. Commissioners? Commissioner Benke?
Chris, given that this is a reader board, is it subject to the photometric limits that we adopted earlier this year?
It would be. Yes, it would be. So there will be light sensing, light dimming equipment that would be installed on this. The other photometric requirements that we would put on it.
And the school district knows about that, I would assume?
I don't know if they do, simply because a lot of that is the manufacturers are now making them that way or designing them in a way they're compatible.
I just realized there could have been a conflict there if they were relying on something more dramatic to be visible during a football game, and all of a sudden, because of that, they weren't allowed to.
Staff will follow up with the school district, make sure they are aware of those requirements.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Benke. Commissioner Corey?
Yeah, just kind of going off of that, I'm just looking at the prior conditions, which I assume would come over to this.
Correct.
And obviously, with what Commissioner Benke just said, that wouldn't be part of the old conditions. So is there
Correct.
a
Commissioners,
problem with that?
It isn't part of the conditions, but it is subject to the ordinance has been changed. So it is now subject to any permit from the point that ordinance was adopted moving forward would be subject to those criteria.
So would that fall under like needing the sign permit? Then to get the sign permit, they'd have to
Correct.
follow the new ordinance.
Correct.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Corey. Any other questions from Mr. Slaney?
If, Mr. Chair, Commissioner, just in retrospect, let's say for some reason they had already pulled the permit, they just had not constructed the scoreboard, we could not go retroactively against them with those photometrics. But in this situation, as the permit hasn't been pulled, construction has not taken place, they'll be subject to that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Slaney, for that explanation. Appreciate it. Any other questions? Since there's none on this, this does not require a public hearing. Do I hear a motion?
Chair, I'll make a motion.
Commissioner Bradrick?
I move that the Planning Commission recommend to the City Council approval of a 12-month extension for the conditional use permit amendment and the variance to replace the existing stadium scoreboards at the Burnsville High School located at 600 Highway 13 West.
Motion to recommend, Commissioner Bradrick.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Corey. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Passed on a 4-0 vote. This will also go to the City Council at its regular meeting on Tuesday, March 17th. Moving on to the next item, updates. Any updates, Commissioners? Mr. Slater?
The only update is, as you stated, we do not have a second meeting in March because of some renovations to this room, so the next meeting will be in April. I don't recall the date off the top of my head.
It will be in April. Okay. Commissioners, thank you for coming, for your deliberations. Mr. Slania, as usual, thank you. Good job. To our listening and viewing audience, we appreciate your being with us. We, on the Planning Commission and staff, we work very hard to make Burnsville the best place to live, to work, to own your business, and of course, to shop. Thank you again, and have a good evening.
Mr. Chair, we do need a